Hello everyone and welcome back to Cat Dad Things. We are in Guild Wars 2 once again, and I've been thinking lately about the next video I wanted to make, and with End of Dragons just around the corner, the third expansion for Guild Wars 2, I figured I would make a video on some tips for new players into the game, especially after the massive exodus from World of Warcraft. I've been interacting with a lot of new players, so I was thinking of making a video for you guys where I can just give you 5 tips to start off right at the bat in order to start this game so you can really get yourself on the right foot, because there's a lot to learn, and with the new expansion there's going to be even more to learn and try to figure out. So hopefully you can enjoy these and they can get you on the right foot so you can still have fun, keep it casual whenever you want, and be able to progress in this game at the pace that you like. So here we go. Okay, so first, to start things off, for my first tip, I would recommend deciding how much time you wish to invest into this game. Guild Wars 2 has been around for a very long time. There's a lot of features to it. You can truly sink hours and hours and hours into this game. It really offers a lot to you, and the best part is it's not a subscription fee. You do have to buy the core game, the expansions of course, but it's a one-time fee for hundreds and hundreds of hours of content. If you are trying to do it for free, well, then obviously you can play it for free, and you get some features to the game, but just like most MMOs, they do limit you. So just a quick rundown here. If you do go with the free account, you can only have 2 characters at a time, 3 bags, and here are the playable professions. You get basically all of them, not quite all of them, but for the most part you do. You can't get professional masteries. You are region locked to Central Tyria, also with the core game. To unlock the other parts of the map, you do have to buy each expansion accordingly. So there are quite a bit of restrictions for a free account, but you still can see a lot of the game. So if you're one of those people that are kind of skeptical first and you really want to test it out to see if it's a game you'd like, then go with the free account. It's not a problem at all. With the core, as you can see, there's a lot of restrictions lifted on like levels for chat and parties and things like that. You can't get access to guild halls, obviously. Excuse me, because they are more restricted to the expansions. You have the additional features. There is a daily login bonus, which actually generates you a lot of gold if you sell things, or if you're trying to advance your account, it gives you quite a bit of stuff. Obviously, they don't give you that for free, so if you have a free account, you can't do that. But I would say the biggest thing, especially concerning my tips and how I have played Guild Wars 2, is right here, the currency exchange. The gems to gold exchange is available, of course, because, hey, they definitely want you to buy their gems, their premium currency. They got no problem doing that to give you gold in game. But in this game, you actually can use the in-game currency to generate it and exchange it to the premium currency, which you can use in the cash shop to buy whatever is in there. It may take some grinding, and once you advance your character and you know what you're doing, gold comes easily. But on a free account, they don't let you do that. Of course, when you buy into the game and you start buying expansions, you can't do that. So for my first tip, honestly, I would say you really have to know if you want to even play this game or invest time into it. If you want to go the free account route, you will be restricted, but just get in there and start, messing around with things, understanding what classes you want to play, and then if you decide, hey, this game is great, I would definitely buy the expansions. This is all part of tip 1. Go for the expansions, the Path of Fire, the Heart of Thorns, especially leading up into End of Dragons. If that's too much money at first, there's probably going to be discounts and things like that leading into End of Dragons. So get at least Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire. You can still spend so much of your time in those 2 expansions, and then when you're ready, buy End of Dragons. So now my next tip on the list is to complete the story. Now that is a big time investment. It can take a long time to do it as well. I happen to like the lore of the story, so if you're really into that, there's a nice story behind the game. But completing the story is so important because it unlocks the entire game for you. Running around in circles and farming gold for hours is fun. It's nice to let off some steam after work, or maybe you only have an hour, and that's fine. But when you go through the story, you do get lots of rewards and items, and you do generate money from just doing the story alone. But it unlocks all the things you need for the rest of the game. For instance, masteries. Masteries is what gives you like permanent buffs, I guess you could say, for your character to do certain things like getting legendary crafting, being able to run fractals, which are dungeons, which is a really nice way to power up your character, get ascended, get gold. And then same thing with the expansions. It unlocks certain things for you to be able to do. I haven't unlocked all my masteries yet because it is a huge time sink, but it is important to do if you wish to access certain parts of the game. For example, in Path of Fire, that's how you start getting mounts. You don't get them through the core story of the game, or even in Heart of Thorns. You have to get to the Path of Fire expansion to start getting those mounts, unlocking them, and using them. And man, they are super convenient. Mounts are super important in this game. I highly recommend doing the stories. Now with stories, when you do start the game, you have your core story, the My Story, right here. Scarlet War, you can't actually do anymore. It was part of the Living World Season 1. Instead, they give you a recap of it for you to watch. If you are a sucker for lore and you have to see and you have to know what's going on, you can go on YouTube. People post all the time where they recap some veterans of the game. They have guides and things like that that take you through the story. I haven't been playing since the beginning of the game, so I missed out on that. But here, you have something called Living World Seasons. Now, Living World Seasons don't come included with the game when you buy the expansion. In the core game, you don't get any, and Heart of Thorns, Path of Fire, you don't get the Living World Seasons. You get them if you were actually playing the game while these different stories came out. You got them for free, and if you didn't get them for free, each one of these here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth, each cost 200 gems. These are also very important because, again, you get masteries, you get rewards, you get achievements, and they unlock certain parts of the game, certain parts of the map. So for example, if you get Heart of Thorns, you do unlock a big chunk of the map, but Living World Seasons will unlock different parts of the map for you, like Lake Dork, for example. You don't get that from just the expansion. You have to get the Living World Seasons in order to get that. Heart of Thorns, for example, you get the entire Crystal Desert, you get all of this action going on here, all the events and quests and all the grind, everything you need from there. But there are certain parts in the map, like here for example, you don't get unless you unlock the Living World Season chapters. So getting through these story content is very important for progressing your character, unlocking the rest of the game, because you could just get by with the expansions, but they could get boring. Those zones, those maps could get boring. Maybe you want something fresh and something new, but you don't have to pay money for these. And this is how I did it. I came in at Living World Season 4. I believe it was around the time these 3 were being released. So from this point on, I got it for free. But this point back, I had to pay for. What's great about Guild Wars 2, and I love it because it's very casual friendly for people that can't just know life games, is the gem store. So yes, cash shop, hate and disgust. We all hate cash shops. But what's nice about Guild Wars is you can go through something called the currency exchange. So you can spend money, of course, to buy gems. They're more than happy to take all your money to buy gems. Yes, hooray. So instead of doing that, what we can do is generate gold, right? The in-game currency, gold, not the premium, but what we get from killing mobs, whatever. And we can exchange it to the premium currency, gems. So, and the rates do fluctuate because it is like a market. So sometimes it's not as high as this, sometimes it's a little higher. You just have to watch it and see. But let's say if I were to buy gems right now, I have enough gold for it, I get 400 gems for that. That gives you 2 chapters of the Living World Season. So right here, Gates of Maguma and Entanglement, I could buy both of them if I didn't have them and enjoy all the content that they have and whatever areas that they unlock for me. And this is what I did. From here all the way down to about here, I just played the game. I went through the expansions, I went through the story, I did my gold grinding, my gold farms, and I bought everything myself. So I would definitely suggest getting the expansions, unlocking those big portions of the map, unlocking the metas, going through them, and starting to power your character, slowly get yourself the Ascended gear, and then you can go and buy all the Living World Seasons. Again, if you're a sucker for the lore and you just can't handle like, oh, I have to play in order, I can't do Heart of Thorns, and then jump over to Path of Fire. I can't do that. You can go on YouTube. You can find these YouTube channels that have put all these stories on there, so you can at least watch them, and then you can get back to the game. So for my third tip now is to get Ascended. What does that mean? So if you happen to buy the expansions to the game, you get a free level 80 character, and it boosts you all the way up. It throws you into the Silver Wastes, and it gives you all exotic equipment. So Ascended and Exotic are max level equipment right now. They are level 80. But the difference being, Ascended equipment has a little bit higher stats than Exotic. So my character, this is a Legendary. I started my Legendary grind, which is a whole other beast, and it's for a whole other video because, man, that takes a lot of time. But Ascended looks like this. Now I have different skins on my armor, but Ascended is the max power you can have for your equipment for your character. There are many different ways to become Ascended. You have to understand what kind of a person you are, how you like to play your MMOs. If you're a crafter, then what you need to do is get your crafting to maximum, which is 500 on both traits, or on both professions. So depending on your class, of course, it's not going to be armor smith or weapon smith, but because I'm a warrior, that's what I maxed out. And I was able to create Ascended gear for my character. That's how I did all of it. I did all of my armor, my weapons, all of it through crafting because I like to craft in these games. That's what I like to do. But you're not restricted to just that. When it comes to PvE, for example, when you start unlocking the Living World season maps, and depending on your build, you can get your accessories, and you don't have to go through Living World season necessarily, but you can get your accessories ascended through those means, the different map currencies, things like that, fractal dungeons, which is a huge and easy way to generate easy gold every single day. But if you're not into PvE so much, if you want to get right into the PvP, but you still want to be able to power up your character, Guild Wars 2 is great at that because that's what you can do. Right now, we're in the middle of a 3v3 season, so the rewards are tempered just a little bit differently. But when you go into PvP, you have these things called reward tracks, and you actually get to choose which ones you have active, and they're usually repeatable. You can tell by this little thing here that says repeatable. So right now I have this reward track going, but depending on what you want, you select a different reward track, and you start gaining the rewards as you PvP. You get the points for it, you get all the way to the end, and you get all kinds of goodies in there. You get materials, you get weapon skins. I mean, you just get whatever you want. And look at that. There's so many to do. Of course, when you have the expansions and you get the Living World seasons, you unlock more reward tracks, but nonetheless, as you PvP, you can do just PvP and get all of these things. But here's how you get Ascended here. When you go into your league, you have to play ranked games, and it's really not a big deal. If you lose, you still get rewards. If you win, you get better rewards. You get these things called pips. If you lose, you only get 4, I believe, and if you win, I can't remember, I think it's 9, but basically you get more. So as you finish this bar, you get one of these little notches, and it gives you some shards of glory, dye, money, whatever. Once you fill this up, you get the chest. And the chest gives you even more rewards. I mean, you get 5 gold for finishing this chest. And the key is PvP league tickets and Ascended shards of glory. So when you do this for a while, go to all rewards, you see the different chests, they slowly get better. You start getting better options. You can get your Warlord's box, Grandmaster marks, and that's what you use to exchange for Ascended gear in the PvP vendors. So you can just do PvP and still get full Ascended. You can also do that with World versus World. It works exactly the same as PvP. You have your own reward tracks, which offers whatever you need, currencies, crafting materials, maybe you just want to sell them skins, whatever you want. But you also have the same kind of a system with the PvP arenas. You get these pips that go all the way to the top. You finish these out. You get your items, whatever you need. Except World versus World, the rewards stay the same. You progressively get better and better and better until you get to the last chest, which gives you some pretty nice rewards, especially as you go through it. And then you find the vendors, you exchange them for Ascended gear. So really there's many different ways to do that, but the key is to get yourself full Ascended. You want to find what kind of build that you want to play, of course, especially at first. Find a build that you like and that you're going to be okay playing with for a while, because when you get Ascended gear, you do restrict the stats to it. So you don't want to be just wasting money like getting 5 different types of chess pieces when you're not even fully Ascended yet. So find the stats that are good for your build. I would recommend going to Meta Battle. It's a wiki that you can use, and I'll put the link in the description. And it breaks down everything for you if you're into open world, raiding, World versus World, fractals and dungeons. You get builds based off of your class, whatever they are. So it's really just a good idea to know what you're going to go for first before you start spending your time, especially if you're a casual player, because it can be frustrating to put so much time into this game and then discover, oh, I don't like what that's doing at all. My 4th tip that I'd like to bring out is to understand the looking for group feature. So if you press the Y key, it brings us up contacts and looking for group. You go down here, looking for group, and it gives you all the activities in the game. Understanding how this feature works really makes it nice for you, because you can understand the timings of different metas and what people are doing, so you can optimize your time and not have to do looking for a group in like a map chat or waiting on others to like get into a certain area to do things. You can just click around. So for example, Central Tyria, there is one thing in here that is always going on called the Silver Wastes, and this is usually what you'll see in here. This is 24/7. These guys never stop. They have this map going on a 24/7 basis, and I'll make a video separately just about the Silver Wastes meta, so you can grind out materials and gold and stuff like that. If you look at world bosses, throughout the day you have different world bosses going on, and certain guilds will put on these meta trains of what they call them, and they just go from boss to boss at different timers. You can just join, find what map they're going to, go to that map, and just start grinding out bosses with them. So depending on your content, you have the Living World, Icebrewed Saga, different people for doing different activities. Path of Fire, for example, different activities they're running. One of the biggest and most used metas is the Heart of Thorns metas, because they're very map specific. They give you lots of rewards. You have the Arc Basin, Verdant Brink, Tangled Depths, Dragon's Stand. Of course, you have to go through the expansions again, go through the story to unlock all of these. But when you really can utilize the looking for group system, it makes the game so much easier. You'll never be bored. You'll always have things to do to generate yourself money, equipment, whatever you want. Fractals are like the dungeons that people do. You get extra gold and extra rewards for the dailies that you complete, and they change between the fractals. And there's a whole system behind that. I can make another video on that if there's requests for it, or you can look for other YouTubers that have already made videos on the fractal dungeon systems, how they work, the agony resistance, all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff to this game, but as you do it every day a little bit, it'll start making sense. You can understand, oh, guild mission, yay, we completed a bounty, look at that. I probably should have been there, but I'm doing this instead. So yeah, it's just a really good system to really get yourself involved in. Raids, you can start right away. I know that there are guys out there for people in exotic gear only that do raids, but I would probably hold back on that. Especially if you're new to this game, you're trying to understand your class, raids can be a little intense. So for my fourth tip, understand the looking for group system. It'll help your life in this game so much more. Finally, for my last tip number 5 is to swipe that credit card. Go to the cash shop, buy 100,000 gems, and do whatever you want in this game. JK, totally kidding, don't do that. Like I explained before, you can just farm gold in this game and exchange it to gems, and then you can buy whatever you want from there. That's what I do for basically everything. I bought the expansions. There is one item that I did buy though, right off the bat, just because it was recommended to me by some veteran players. It did make my life easier in this game and helping me generate gold. I would suggest this, again, you don't have to, but it's the Copper-Fed Salvage-O-Matic. In this game, when you get items and you get equipment, you can salvage them, because you get a lot of gear in this game that's useless. It's garbage. You can't do anything with it, really. But what you do is you salvage it for raw materials. You take those materials, you craft them into other things, sell it, or you just outright sell it, the raw materials on the trade post, whatever you want, to make yourself money. So I bought this. The sooner you buy this, obviously the better, because you can utilize it. If you don't buy it, you have to buy salvage kits. I don't have any on me because I have the machine right here. But for the mastered or the rare items, obviously, I haven't bought the next one up. But you use salvage kits, and you actually have to pay for these salvage kits. So if you have hundreds and hundreds of items in your inventory that you need to salvage, you're having to buy hundreds and hundreds of salvage kits. So you're actually spending a lot of money doing that. This saves you a big cost right up front. So if you want to buy it, it's there. If you want to wait till you get enough gold to buy it, you can do that too. Totally up to you. But navigating the cash shop can really make your life easy in this game as well. Quality of life is a big thing in this game. So if you look at my history, I was looking at it earlier and it doesn't go back all the way to when I started. For some reason, it's stopping right here. But you see here, I bought the 3rd season of the Living World this year, back in March. It only cost me 1,000 gems. I grinded out the gold I needed for it, and I bought it. These are free promos, that's why you don't see an account balance on them. But I've bought bag slots. I've bought unlimited harvesting tools, which is another thing in this game. You have harvesting tools. They They have a certain amount to them before they break. You can't use them anymore. But on the cash shop, you can buy these, which are unlimited, and they have little bonuses added to them as well. But the cash shop, there are a lot of good things in there that can really improve your quality of life in this game. You can get account bumps, which they give you Black Lion key chests, you get dyes, you get transmutation things. I mean, you can buy, again, tools, you can buy boosters. There's just a lot of different things on here. So learning how the cash shop works, understanding how to navigate it can boost your gameplay. And again, you don't actually have to swipe the credit card. As you're just naturally playing the game, doing metas you enjoy, maybe you're grinding for ascended things, maybe you're trying to get legendary items, or you're just trying to complete the story, or do some PvP because you like PvP, you'll naturally gain gold just from doing that, and you can use it, convert it into the premium currency. But look, it's already dropped. From before, earlier in this video, it was 121, now it's 119. Just pay close attention to it so you can get those gems and go for wherever you want. And if you want to engage in fashion wars right off the bat, go for it. This is your game. You do whatever you want. You can buy whatever you want. Just understanding how the game works is important. The upgrades tab is probably one of the first places I would go because this is what gives you your main upgrades. You can get additional crafting licenses, bank tabs, bag slots, character slots, whatever you need. You can get the deluxe versions of the expansion if you didn't buy them, perchance. You can get build templates. Whatever you need is on here. So this is my final tip for this video. Understand how the cash shop works. It'll improve your quality of life. Alright, well that's all I have for everyone today. Thanks for watching. Those are just 5 tips for new players. If you're still a casual gamer like me, you have careers, you have commitments, and you can't spend a lot of time in this game, I hope those tips really get you off to a great start. I had to figure out a lot of things for the most part, and I wish someone had explained it to me, but hopefully this can save you some time, give you some direction in which to go. Please like and subscribe to the video if you enjoyed this content, and leave a comment too if you have some questions about things or you want to see some other things. Let me know. I'm always open to ideas and suggestions, and just, if you have any tips of your own, or maybe there's something that I missed, also please feel free to comment and let me know that as well. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.